What up, Mike? Check 1 2 1 2. Wanted to check in with the people. Yeah, I ran into this article. I'm gonna get right into it. That's what we do on these. Get right into it. I came across this article on HipHopDX. It said "Return of the Rapper Producer Duo," and so it starts off. The article starts off by basically saying, and this is by Andy Buster. Anyway, says before 1994, when Nas Illmatic changed the game by becoming the first rap album to be the soundtrack by an all-star team of producers: DJ Premier, Q-Tip, Pete Rock, etc. The etc. is Large Professor and LES, if we're being honest. All right. It says hip hop was largely defined by partnership comprised by one rapper or rap group and one producer or production team. Think NWA, Dr. Dre, Public Enemy, Bomb Squad, Jazzy Jeff, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, De La Soul, Prince Paul, Run DMC, Larry Smith, Eric B, Rakim, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Wu-Tang Clan, RZA, yes, etc., etc. All right. So with that being said, I found it very, very interesting that we're talking about all the hip hop duos as far as like from an MC standpoint and producer matchups, which I think are incredible. I love that that's happening. I think that allows you to make some of the best music possible. But that change, like they noted here in the article, is Nas with Illmatic. And then I see them going into the article and start talking about how organic, Future and Metro and what is it, Kendrick Mustard, Common, Pete Rock, LL Cool J, and Q-Tip. And I thought to myself, Nas gets credit for changing it, but is Nas not getting the proper credit for changing it back? Let's really analyze this because, in 2020, when Nas and Hit-Boy got together, that wasn't the popular thing to do. Now, it happened. I'm not going to sit here and say they were the first to do it, but it was the first of like these two generational individuals coming together from an MC standpoint and from a production standpoint, especially at this high level. And then not only did they do it once, they came back the next year and did it again. And then came back the following year. Oh shit, that next year they did it twice. And then the following year did it twice. And then, we look up and we got 6 albums from Nas and Hit-Boy. I would say to HipHopDX, I don't think that, especially if you're going to notate Illmatic and Nas for being the one to actually change the game where you have multiple producers as opposed to one production team and one producer, I think you need to give Nas and Hit-Boy the credit for changing it back. All of these combinations that they're talking about, this came after Nas and Hit-Boy. The people that they notated, Future and Metro, Kendrick and Mustard, Snoop and Dre, that's different, I guess. Common and Pete, LL Cool J and Q-Tip, Big Sean and Alchemist, and they said other rapper producers duos that are also carrying on tradition. Then they got Nas and Hit-Boy. Then they got Rock Marciano and Alchemist, Larry June and Cardo, Chief Keef and Mike Will, Bun B, Static Selector, Young Nudie, Harry Fraud, Saba No ID, Freeway, Jake One, Mike, Rome Streets and Derringer. Listen, at the end of the day, man, I think it's really dope what everybody's doing, rapper, producer thing. I'm just going to be honest here, and I'm just going to keep it 100% real. Nas and Hit-Boy, they turned the volume up on the MC producer combo happening again in this era of hip-hop. And to be perfectly honest, based on the catalog, based on Magic 2, Magic 3, KD1, KD2, KD3, none of these rapper-producer combos have the catalog that Nas and Hit-Boy have. And not to mention just the duration of time that they did it, how versatile they did it, how creatively they did it. And really, if we want to talk about the level of difficulty, the curve of difficulty on this, they're somewhere else. And I find it very interesting that Nas would be the one to get the credit for changing the game to, multiple producers, but HipHopDX is not ready to give Nas and Hit-Boy the credit for changing the game back and really inspiring other MCs to hook up with producers and put together bodies of work. I think this is something that historically is going to be spoken about, in the future, what, Nas and Hit-Boy were able to accomplish. But, no time like the present. We got to actually realize that history is being made while it's happening. You know what I'm saying? We can't just wait until the time period is over. Now, granted, we're probably not going to get a Nas and Hit-Boy album again, or not anytime soon, and that's fine because they gave us six. They gave us six albums in what, 3-4 years, something like that, and they're all quality. If I were to rank, and this is so difficult to do, but if I were to rank the Hit-Boy and Nas collabos, I'm gonna go KD 3. I'm gonna go Magic. Then I'm gonna go Magic 3. Then I'm gonna go KD 2. Then I'm gonna go KD 1, and then I'm gonna go Magic 2. And saying all that to say, even though Magic 2 is at the bottom of my list, Magic 2 is quality. And these guys, they came with it. I'm still listening to these albums, man. I'm still listening to KD, the KD series and the Magic series. The way that they reinvigorated one another and really got the fan base hyped up to the point where our platform got hyped up by, what these guys were creating and the energy that they were inseminating in the studio. And that needs to be acknowledged, man. Because even though there are a lot of rapper producer duos that are going on right now, can we say that any of them had created the level of energy that the Nas and Hit-Boy collaboration has? I mean, we're at the point now, man, where people are talking about Nas and Premier doing an album together, and I'm like, man, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I'm only being like that because of what Nas and Hit-Boy were able to accomplish together. Those guys knocked it out the park, man. And at this point, I feel like Nas doesn't have to do anything else. I think that the Nas and Hit-Boy series and their run, it solidified Nas as the greatest MC of all time. No comparison. No one's even in his stratosphere. He's in Tom Brady time right now. We're talking about MCs. Because what he did in that time period, it's going to take a lot for anybody to catch up with that, but he's placed himself somewhere else. And so that series is very important. I do feel like there is a level, and I've spoken about this on this platform before. I do think there is an agenda by certain media to not give Nas certain props, because once you do that, it'd be impossible to say that he's not number one. So I guess you got to keep the debate alive, but there is no debate anymore. Nas is the greatest MC of all time. Not only has he proven that throughout his career since his debut album, Illmatic, but he definitely proved that in spades from 2020 on. I mean, it's what it is. Lyrically, he's somewhere else. As a writer, he's clearly hip-hop's best writer. He's clearly hip-hop's best storyteller if we're going to be unbiased about the situation. And if we look at his album catalog, he has a better album catalog than everyone. And not to mention, if we're just going to go bar for bar, skill for skill, you will be very hard-pressed to find an MC that is better than Nas. So with all of those things factored in this thing that we call hip-hop and all of the things that we hold important in this genre, Nas is the greatest MC of all time. So let's not just give him credit for busting up the duos or the fully produced one producer albums and giving us multiple producers on one effort. We got to also give him credit for bringing it back around. And the series that him and Hit-Boy put together, the two series, they did two series at one time, is very special, and it's something that needs to be championed now. We don't need to wait 5-10 years later to champion what those guys did. Those guys put a needle in the arm of hip-hop when hip-hop needed it. And if we're being honest about it, the fact that they haven't been here for us to rely on, it actually made for a dull year in 2024. It did. It's not their responsibility to keep hip-hop popping, but I do see a big difference in the year that Nas and Hit-Boy weren't active, and somebody else has to step up. But shout out to Common and Pete Rock. They did a really good job of putting something together. Same thing with LL and Q-Tip. They did a great job of putting something together. But without Nas and Hit-Boy, and I guess since we've had material from them, 3 years in a row, it did seem kind of different not having a year without them involved. So I'm looking forward to what Common and Pete are going to put together on this volume 2, and hopefully LL and Q-Tip will do something similar. But yeah, we got to give the credit where credit's due. If we want to talk about rapper producer combos and all that, and bringing that back to the fold, we got to give Nas and Hit-Boy credit for making that a thing again. Shout out to them, and shout out to you guys. Hit like and subscribe. If I'm off base on this, let me know in the comment section. And you know what I'm saying? And if you agree, let me know as well. Hit like and subscribe, man. Appreciate you guys. A2HH. Yes, sir.